You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
You there. Yes, you. Do you like the fresh taste of biscuits from the Biscuit Baron? Of course you do. Then why not try our new Biscuit Bonanza Crew Bucket? 6 mouth-watering biscuits, drinks and sides for that low price of free Imperial credits. The new Biscuit Bonanza Crew Bucket. The Biscuit Baron. Have it our way.
Hi, my name's Ed Fortune, and I will be games mastering this session of Force and Destiny, Shadows of the Jedi. I have some lovely players, so if they'd like to introduce themselves.
My name is Adam, and I am playing Tychus Bar, a Basilisk Guardian Armourer. My emotional strength is my bravery, and my emotional weakness is my recklessness.
Hi, I'm Mim, and I'm playing Roy. Roy's a B1 battle droid who is a hired gun with a specialisation as a bodyguard. He also has an obligation of 40 to the Bar family.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I'm playing Dalen Kyrane, also known as K. I am an Ataru striker. My emotional strength is my compassion, but my emotional weakness is my hatred.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm playing Dr. Smex Karam Denalawa, a Syrian conceal healer whose emotional strength is his compassion, but whose weakness is his obstinacy.
On the world of Kinabale, the law is very simple and at the same time very complicated. Most of the rules are this: if someone is bigger than you, do what they say. If something crashes into something else, unless it belongs to someone, help the people, then help yourselves. If you find it, it's yours. Which brings us to the party, who currently find themselves in an ancient ruined city. When we previously left the party, the good doctor had fallen down a glass pane into, more pane, and into some sort of walkway kind of sewerway system, not sure exactly what it is.
Not walking away from that hurt.
And is currently staring at the distance at a steadily glowing ancient building.
Doc? Doc, are you alright? Doc?
Ow. But yes. I've landed, I've not broken anything. I haven't broken any of the droids. They're both here.
Yeah, the droid's illuminating you. We can see you.
I've not broken anything internally. I don't know if the droids have broken anything internally.
Roy, are you alright, mate?
I'm fine.
Okay. Well, we probably need to get down there somehow.
You got a ship?
I'm not sure we can fly it down here, though. The ship is quite big and the hole is quite small. And if we kind of smash the glass any bigger, it would rain shards of razor-paned death upon you and Roy. And, that doesn't strike me as being an act of love.
No. Stay there. We'll be down in a minute. Kay goes back to the Chadrafan, says, alright, in the ship.
Okay.
He walks him into the ship, walks him into one of the rooms that haven't been claimed yet. Stay here, we'll come and get you in a minute. And locks the door.
Okay.
Walks back out.
Tychus has followed Kay onto the ship. He's gone to the big bag of droids that are all currently turned off and has secured that with the cargo hooks into the cargo bay. He's not turning them on at the moment simply because this is a dangerous situation and he doesn't like the thought of these droids waking up confused, possibly scared, and then panicking and getting into more trouble. He wants to wait until he gets them back to Red Yes before turning them on because, again, that's not a kind thing to do. He'd rather them be on and aware, obviously, but in the current circumstances, his conscience won't let him do that. It's not appropriate. So
safety.
You do need to use the hover trolley thing to move it around.
Yeah, that's fine.
While you're doing that, Kay walks over and says, look at this. And he holds out the cube, which is no longer a cube, and he moves it to the side, and the light, which is illuminated one from below, moves. It wants us to go that way.
That is kind of freaky.
Just to give you a good description, on each side there is a symbol.
Yes.
In the middle of each side there is a symbol, and then there's concentric lines coming out from that symbol.
Right.
As you move it, the concentric lines point to the next face, as it were.
Yes.
So you can actually use it as a compass.
Ra turned up. Well, an image of him. He said to take this to the temple. There's a temple down there somewhere.
I don't trust that fella, there's something about him.
Yes, but we're the first ones down there.
We are, but, I think we just need to... I'm not entirely sold on his intention, quite frankly.
Let's go down there and see what we can find.
We've got one more of these hover packs, and I've got my grapnel, which, admittedly didn't do quite so well for the dock, but if you hover the pack down, I'll attach my grapnel manually and slowly winch myself down, and I can detach it and...
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to jump that.
No. And the good thing is we've got the hover packs for you and Roy to get back up, and you can... we have got some spare rope and climbing gear from when we went into the Razor's Heel, so I'll pack that in my wee pockets.
Yeah.
So help Kay into the second kind of hover pack we had, and Tychus fills some of his various pouches and pockets with ropes and climbing gear and that sort of useful stuff. He also goes into one of the what's normally like a locked weapons chest in the armoury of the ship and takes out 2 of the frag grenades and 2 of the foam mines that he recovered from the Razor's Heel 6 months ago and has had here because his parents are kind of fine with him having guns, but they're not big fans on explosives, so they've been kept on the ship in an arms locker, an arms chest. He takes them as well and passes one of each to Kay.
Perfectly sensible thing to do, to put your explosive devices in the area where you're testing rockets.
We're not that cunning. It's a good idea. As he says, and he goes into his room, picks up the lightsaber, and attaches it to his belt.
I just want to ask just to make sure that the guy doesn't escape at some plotting opportune moment. Are you securing anything else in the ship, or is everything else suitably locked away?
I think everything else is suitably locked away, really. There's not really an awful lot of valuable stuff on the ship itself, so it's just like the weaponry, which is locked away now, and the Chadrafan is locked in a room with a refresher because we're not monsters. His hands are still gaffered up, but
that's for him to figure out.
Yeah, that is his problem.
He can go to sleep for 2 hours. That's what Chadrafan do.
It is.
I would like to be asked TBC to be performing a medical scan and trying to heal me while I'm down here.
Can you make a roll for TBC? While you're down there,
Yes.
you notice, right, so you did land on something soft.
Good.
You landed on a pile of fungus. There's a distinct kind of sulphury smell where you are, and right, so the fungus is a kind of purplish brown, and it's got long feelers that come out of it, like fronds. And on the end of the fronds are little blue eyes, and as you've let some light in, it's backing away from the light, as it were. So it kind of waves and moves and emits this kind of sulphury smell. But that's what you've landed on, and you've basically killed a whole load of it. And it's scattered away from you. But yeah, it's this kind of soft, mushy kind of fungus thing that you're on.
Okay. I'm going to try and do some kind of... check myself over. We're using this nice little medical droid. But yeah, let's watch what the fungus is doing in case it has more threatening behaviour while I'm doing this.
TBC hovers towards you. It deploys its stim pack. And it goes, "This might pinch just a little bit. Not that you deserve it. Please stay still."
So that will immediately heal you 5 of your wounds. The difficulty test for you to heal yourself is 3 purple, but you do get 2 boost die from TBC's skill and integrated medpack.
2 success and an advantage. Oh, sorry, 2 success and 2 advantage.
You will heal 6 wounds and 4 strain.
6 wounds and 4 strain.
Yep, from all your advantages and successes, and talents and things.
I have healed a lot.
So, what you've learned here is that TBC has better stitching skill than you do. You start stitching, you have cut yourself, you've got numerous cuts everywhere.
Yep.
There's a couple of serious gashes. As you start stitching one area, it goes, "Well, you could do that, or we could use this." And it deploys what is essentially a sewing machine kind of appendage as it just stitches it up.
But it's also good because self-medication is not always the best when you're dealing with this sort of thing. So
Roy sidles up to the doctor while this is happening, kind of sits next to him with his arms around his legs, rocking back and forth in a kind of bored way, and then goes,
I spy with my little eye something beginning with G.
ground?
Nope.
Glass.
Yep, your turn.
So the I Spy game keeps going for about a minute, and then suddenly I Spy something beginning with K appears as K steps off of the edge of the glass, turning the grav device on, as he's in the air because he has quick draw. So he falls about 10 feet and then floats the rest of it.
Nice. Yep. No roll needed for that. You land safely. So it is what you see now that have you got lights on?
I don't.
Okay.
It's dark down here.
You're still being illuminated by the erratic light of the starlight of a droid that the Doctor's currently waving around.
Roy, you've got lights.
Doc, you're alive.
Not recently.
Alright then.
And Roy turns on his little light system.
Okay, as you illuminate...
It's still set on life day lights. He then puts it back to normal white light.
Oh, no, we like the green, yellow and...
So the fungus that's around you suddenly starts receding away from the light. There's a lot of it. It's in patches. And it just kind of moves in a wave. As it waves, the smell of sulphur increases.
When the light moves around, does it move back into the darkness?
Yes.
Oh, Roy's going to have fun with that for at least a minute.
It creeps out, then creeps away, then creeps out, then
pretty
creeps
much.
away.
Roy, just stop for a second. Kay closes his eyes and using Farsight, just in the bits where we're not illuminating, is it coming closer to us?
Make a force roll, please. It also squeaks, by the way.
Even better.
Oh, too dark side. I am not spending... Oh.
So there is an energy here as you tap into it.
Yes.
You can't focus as to where it is, but there is definitely darkness here. You could tap into it if you wish.
No. I close my eyes and just see darkness. And Kay... Oh, it's not nice down here at all. Keep the light on the fungus if you will, Roy. I'm a little worried about it.
As you get your bearings a bit more, what you appear to be in is Kay will notice, the Dot will notice, Roy has a distant memory. When Tychus gets here, you won't.
Yeah, I mean, Tychus has affixed the grapple part of the grapple gun to something and is very slowly winching himself down.
If you take your time and don't need to roll, you
Yeah.
rattle down. You would not get the reference, so you don't realise what this is.
Yeah.
The rest of you realise that you are in a city pedway. This would normally be a sealed tube. There would normally be some sort of mechanism to let you walk along. Or what's happened is the top canopy has shattered. The entire thing over time has gone further down. The building that it was attached to is long gone, and you're kind of drifting.
So is there nothing beneath us still? We could still fall further.
You could still fall further. You are pointing downwards and you can see something glowing green in the distance that looks eerie and also looks... It screams temple. It's got that kind of monolith style thing to it, and that's the building that you can see. If you follow the route down, it will take you to a plaza, and then you can see where this is supposed to be.
Take the holocron out of my pocket and see if it's glowing in that direction.
It's pointing directly into that direction. It wants you to go that way.
Seeing how dark it is down here when Tychus does land, he takes 455 out of his pocket, boops him awake, and is like, 455, it's darker than Garrett Tane's soul down here. Kind of put your light on for me, lad. And 455 boops cheerily, and his somewhat more impressive light cuts out, because he's always had quite a good torch built in, but that's been booped up a bit since that's mostly what Tychus used him for, helping with mechanics and for having a powerful torch.
So when he turns on his floods, one of the still present properties of the tube that you're in is it conducts light. So the entire thing lights up, and you can see that all of the fungus, you can see the fungus start retreating into long stringy lines coming down.
Everyone else can see that the mushrooms are moving, right? That's not just me.
No, it's...
What is this stuff?
I don't know, but I think if we turn all the lights off, it would eat us.
Doc, you're a knower of things. What things is this?
It would be as a knowledge roll.
Difficulty?
Difficult to get boosted out from TBC as he sarcastically chips in. Is that a triumph?
It is a triumph. So I have 2 advantage and 2 failure.
And a triumph.
I don't know what it is. It's going that way.
You don't know exactly what it is, but you have a rough idea what sort of thing it is, if you see what I mean. So it will be from the broad family of stuff that they use in... You find them in like compactors and starships and this sort of thing. You find them on the underside of starships. that have been in dock for too long. It eats material. You don't know exactly what it's going to do to you.
Yeah.
So you fail that roll. You don't know its name, but you know the sort of thing it is.
Yeah.
Which is it's an organism that eats material.
It's a recycling thing.
So it will eventually eat this entire city over time. It'll get bigger and bigger and bigger until something else eats it.
So what is it then, Doc?
It's sort of a recycle. It's going to feed on everything here. Left to its own devices, it's going to eat what's left of this city. And us if we're still here.
But we don't know what it's called.
Not specific.
Then I vote for a Gromp Chomper.
Okay.
That's a sensible name.
Aye.
I mean, you could have named it after yourself in saying this is the thing I discovered, or...
He's naming it after himself.
I don't eat garbage, at which point Tyker shoots a look at Roy, kind of narrowed eyes.
Mum says it's not allowed.
I mean, that's a nicer response than I expected. That is also very true. Mum and Dad have left very strict instructions on me eating from bins. Apparently, that's for Ewoks.
If it eats everything, how about an omni-nom-nom? Omni-nom.
Omni-nom.
Omni-nom sounds good.
Aye.
Omni-nom.
Omni-nom fungus.
I don't know if you can sense it, but I'm getting a...
If you say you're going to get a bad feeling about this, I will raise an eyebrow at you, my boy.
I was going to say an evil vibe, but yeah.
Oh, that's all right. You can say that.
Yeah.
The sulfury smell increases. It's starting to smell much more gunpowdery.
That's not me.
Shall we move?
Aye, we probably should. Where's the wee gribber grubber telling us to go?
That way, towards that green thing.
Oh, well, that's fine then. It's both terribly convenient and not at all ominous. Right-o.
I don't like all this mystical stuff.
Aye, it's alright. We'll be
It's not
fine.
mystical, it's a light.
It is a bit mystical, Roy. It's fine. I'll tell you what. I'll take point with 455. Roy, if you want to keep an eye on our back, given that you've also got your torches and, you're full of shoosters.
Yep.
And, Kay, Doc, if you want to hover in the middle, and we'll take it as we go. So, Tychus retracts the grapple cable and hefts Clementine in a protective ready stance, and then starts heading down the tube towards the glowing temple.
It's pretty much impossible not to tread on the stuff, by the way, as you walk through it, because it is everywhere. But as you do, it physically is repulsed by your presence, if you see what I mean.
After about 5 or 6 steps, and realising we're standing on the stuff that's pushed back by light, Kay goes to his belt, pulls out the lightsaber, and ignites it.
Not sure this is the best time to be igniting things, but...
Nope. No likey. Jedi scum. No, whoa.
As you turn on the lightsaber, there is a woof.
And that was chapter 2.
Can everyone take 2 strain, please?
Does our soak count?
Nope.
No. Boo. Does my energy dispersion system for absorbing strain from my pit crew overalls count?
No.
Boo.
Party, can I have a resilient roll from you puny organics? And can I have a discipline roll from Roy for seeing a lightsaber do something weird? Difficulty 1s all round.
So I got no successes, but I got an advantage.
I got 1 success and 3 advantage, and I might use some of those to heal some strain.
I got 4 success and 1 advantage, and I am using that to heal some strain.
Okay, so Kay, you are incapacitated for about 30 seconds as you're struggling for breath. Because what you've done there is you've sucked all the oxygen out of the tube.
Okay.
Because you've lit whatever chemical was in there, and all of the oxygen has gone woof.
Okay.
Everyone else held their breath when the lightsaber came out because they're smart. How did it go for Roy?
1 threat. No successes, no horrible failures, but just 1 threat.
Strain, please.
How much?
Just the 1. Just as you freak out, and it's the presence of it's the presence of the lightsaber combined with the fact that it's gone woof.
In his head, Tychus is seeing Roy doing this, realising there's no air, isn't saying it out loud, but he's definitely thinking, I've really got to do something about that association response here. This is a maladaptive. I don't even think Roy ever saw Jedi back then. I'm sure he was built from later parts. Oh well, another one for the list. And he's about to say 455 take a note. He opens his mouth, gapes on the lack of air, closes his mouth again, and hurries down the tube a little bit quicker.
You make your way down the tube. Kay, how are you coping?
Kay's on his knees right now, He is getting his composure. The lightsaber has not gone off, because if this explosive stuff keeps building up, if we do need to use the lightsaber, it'll incapacitate us all. So let's keep it on and burn out all of the whatever this sulphurous stuff is. But he'll wait there, he'll focus, he'll try and clear his mind, and then he'll get back up.
Okay, you meditate, essentially. Is the rest of the party leaving Kay, or...?
Tychus hasn't noticed that Kay's gone down because Tychus is taking point at the moment. He can just hear Roy panicking. So, unless the Doc or Roy kind of brings it to his attention, Tychus is probably advancing on slowly and carefully. He's very much more focused on what's ahead than what's behind at the moment.
The dog is definitely going to see how Kay's doing, because he's just collapsed.
Do either of you have a rebreather or other equipment?
If
I don't breathe.
Kay realises and puts his helmet on, that's part of the thing, he becomes vacuum sealed and it'll automatically pressurise with its own oxygen supply. But it's whether or not Kay thinks to do that, or someone lets Tychus know, by the way.
Alternatively, I'll let the dog roll intellect against difficulty of 1 if he wants to figure it out, because it's new equipment.
Yeah, I'm going to make that test. It's just straight intellect against difficulty 1.
Yeah.
3 success, 2 advantage.
If you press that button on the side of Kay's uniform, he can breathe.
Bip. Can I breathe?
Because you held your breath in time,
Right.
you can breathe. It's thinner,
Okay.
if you see what I mean.
There's a big hole in the roof. Air's going to get in. It's just
Yeah.
we used to pull the oxygen just there.
Okay.
You've basically triggered a bronchial episode in Kay.
Well, that was a learning experience, he says, getting to his feet. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down here for me.
Yeah, hearing that, Tychus slows down. He's like, wait, what happened? I mean, other than the air going, are we all alright? What?
The air went. I wasn't expecting it.
Are you alright, Kay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Right, let's crack on and get out of here as quickly as we can. That's a little bit worrying, though. If the air is going to be going, there's only going to be you and Roy kind of functional.
Have we got any rebreathers other than this one?
I am looking at this lab coat, wondering whether or not that was something that was included in the design or not.
Alas, no.
Okay. Just so I know.
As you get to the end of the tube, and there is a spiral door. It is closed. It is made out of a plexiglass.
Right.
Do you want me to try and open this then?
Mm-hmm.
Mechanics, skullduggery?
Mechanics, it would be onerous, so free. Alternatively, you can just cut it open.
Nope, I don't.
No.
I don't like the idea of that. I shall mechanics it open then, and a boost die from 455, who is helping me out.
While you're doing that, Kay turns round towards Roy, lightsaber in hand, and says, "Everything okay?"
Yeah,
Good.
sure.
Good.
I don't know, he's not talking much.
Sorry about that.
You can picture exactly how it would cut through metal beams. You can imagine it in your mind's eye, just exactly what vulnerable parts that an incredibly hot beam could do.
There's a gentle clanking, and if anyone does look down, you can see that Roy's knees are shaking a little.
For the mechanics test, that was 1 success and 3 advantages.
So it is a beautiful piece of design. You only really noticed it was there when you got next to it, if you see what I mean. You would imagine that this automatically closes and opens. You have to use a bit of power from your kit, because these ancient conduits haven't been connected in a very long time. And you've essentially used a little bit of glue, a little bit of gaffer, and then you've just jammed it in and hoped. And it's opened up beautifully. It's like a flower, just opened up completely. You can imagine there's some other sort of connecting network to it, but that's not there anymore. There is a kind of wrenching sound as it clicks, and it's open. You'd have to faff with it again to close it again if you wanted to close it. As it turns on, there is an option to turn on lights. There's like a light system here as well. On the ring of the doorway, there are lights that you can turn on if you wish.
Well, what I'm thinking, I'm not too worried about turning the lights. Could I use one of my advantages to have the door have rebooted enough power that I can just open and close it by poking the open close button from this side?
Yes.
I will do that then. I will flip the lights on. And does flipping the lights on cost me another advantage, or?
Yeah, it'll cost you another advantage.
Okay, I'll do that. And then for my third advantage, I'm going to heal another strain, because I don't have a lot and I've taken a fair bit. But that means now we've got the door with power that will open and close, and the light around it should hopefully keep it clear of the death fungus while we're not here.
As it opens up, you are now in a plaza area. And you can see From where you were, it would have been a job. You probably would have... You can see where you would have had to have walked down what's essentially a spiral walkway to get where you were. And you've taken some sort of building connecting walkway instead. You've done it in a really weird way. There's no fungus here, or at least you can't see much of the fungus here.
Once the light goes on, I'll turn the lightsaber off
Okay.
and attach it back to my belt.
It's still very gloomy. There's some light behind you,
Yep.
and in front of you is essentially a spiky ziggurat. The plaza area kind of opens out onto itself, and there is this kind of obsidian and glass build to it. There's a blue tinge to the entire structure, and green lights are opening up more and more. The holocron in your hand or near you is glowing from every direction at this point.
I turn it back into a cube and put it away.
Okay.
Hopefully turning the light off a little bit.
The light goes off. There's still a soft glow to it, actually. It goes off as a big light, but it's still a soft glow.
Tychus,
Aye?
you know when I said darkly ominous?
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much fits the bill, doesn't it, there?
Yeah.
There's what appears to be runic writing across all of the sides. You see the kind of etchings and the design, and you recognise them from the crystal that you've seen. The ominous crystal that you own, it's the same sort of aesthetic and design.
Oh, Criff. Well, I'm saying right now for the record, I am not happy about this. I am not comfortable here in the dark, in this temple that, to my mind at the very least, is definitely evil.
Yeah.
On the subject of on the record, then, is it worthwhile us at least leaving a message in case anybody wants to know where we've disappeared?
I am gonna comm Carween. So Tychus pulls out his brand new shiny comm that he got off his folks, and he's going to page Carween.
You get static.
Okay.
I'm going to try one of the regular comms just to see whether there's a signal just with the ship, just with fire.
Yeah, well that was my next plan, to be honest. If this comm won't go directly, I'm gonna see if I can bounce a signal through the ship's comm, because we're closer to that. That's a really good idea, Doc. Using either my shiny new comm or the Doc's personal comm, can we get hold of the ship?
Yes.
Do both work, or does it just the Doc's?
It's just the docks will allow you to bounce to the ship, and then you can use the ship to communicate. You need to make a computer's roll to use the ship to bounce across.
Do you mind if I borrow your comm then, please, Doc?
No, I assume you still got your up, but...
Yeah, it's not connecting to the ship.
Okay.
But yours looks like it will do.
They're new. We've not set them up with the Wi-Fi yet.
So Tychus takes the Doc's comm, he assembles his slicing rig so he can boost that, and will attempt to bounce his signal from the Doc's comm to the ship, then out to Carween. What's the difficulty, Ed?
That's 2.
Can I claim a boost die, because I am bouncing it through the ship, which has got a proper comms array on it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That is a failure with 4 advantage.
Interesting.
What I'm thinking is this, and obviously, so I don't get hold of Carween, but for those advantage, could the message get sent, but it will arrive at some indeterminate point in the future?
So let me explain to you what you've discovered and why it's failed.
Okay, I'll
So-
shush.
When you send your message, you can spend 2 advantage on banking the message.
Okay,
That's
I'll do
not
that.
a problem.
Yeah.
There is another message that is set here. There's some sort of transmission system, and there is some message here that is blocking.
Oh, so it's constantly broadcasting and that's jamming the frequencies?
Yes. You can pull that out
Yes.
with another roll.
Could I pull that out with my remaining 2 advantages?
You can use your 2 advantages to play it.
Yes, that's what. So 2 advantages to bank a message to Carween to send at some point in the future, and 2 messages to pull down what this overarching broadcast is.
So you identify the message, you send a squelch across, and you think that's going to trigger whatever this is. Mm-hmm. In the plaza, holograms appear.
Warning. Warning. Do not approach the audio aspect to temple. Warning. Warning. Do not approach the audio aspect to temple. We have been compromised.
Playing in the plaza are Jedi fighting Jedi. Can I have another fear test from Roy, please? Difficulty 2.
Oh, right. Bar, we're approaching the plaza. Roy, on his discipline test, got 1 success and 1 threat.
Right.
I was going to ask before you roll, actually, could Roy get a boost die because he's here with his best friends?
You can't spend a boost die. Go on, roll that as well and see what happens.
1 success, 1 advantage.
1 success, 1 advantage. You can spend that advantage to get rid of strain if you want. So what you see is they are mostly, they've got white hair, they're in like white robes.
Too many
And then-
Witcher cosplayers these days.
And then there's a bunch of other kind of armoured guys with lightsabers. And the armoured guys and lightsabers are basically beating up the slightly more friendly looking priesty types.
When you say beating up, you mean hacking to death with
Hacking to
lightsabers?
death with
right,
lightsabers.
okay. Got it.
Does this look entirely like a simulation, or is any of this vaguely looking interactive?
It looks like a recording.
Right.
It looks like someone has recorded a massacre and sent it across as a warning.
I am going to use that advantage to recover 1 strain.
Good plan.
Roy's clearly a little unnerved, and he jumps at first, and you see him perform. Both his arms go out, and 2 guns pop out. And he spends a couple of moments kind of, pointing them at the holograms, and then chills and starts watching them, waves his hand through a couple of them, and then actually sits and kind of grins as a couple of them are cut into pieces, and then applauds as one is literally sliced in half by the other, and is like, wow.
It's a hell of a show. I'm feeling increasingly unsettled,
Mm-hmm.
although, look at that armour that one's wearing. That gives a reasonable amount of protection, but look at the freedom of movement it allows. And while he's, got his comm out, or got the doc's comm, and he's recording this message to Carween, his upper hands are typing it on the slicer gear, because he's going to send it out as a text message. His lower arms have pulled out a data slate, and are quickly sketching kind of schematic impressions of the way that the plates move and that sort of thing, because that's, not so much for Tychus, because Tychus is stocky and he's a bit of a brute force. But again, the flight suit he's made for Kay is lovely, but if Kay's going to end up brandishing this lightsaber properly, he's going to need more freedom of movement. So yeah, he's just taken notes with his lower set of arms. Oh, Carween, we're in a pit. There's a temple that's going peculiar. There's lots of murders linked to this transponder code. Some weird Jedi nonsense, I think, by the way.
Mystical.
Mystical. Roy says it's mystical. Hoo-ha. It looks like it is. Oh, look at that.
This all plays around you in the plaza from various emitters.
So it's playing multiple times, as in there's copies of it being played around?
It's one big scene.
Right, okay. Listen.
So essentially, the things that were emitting them probably recorded it. Definitely happened here. If you look down, you can see. You know that mold I mentioned? Yeah, there's bits of mold there. I mentioned that you couldn't see any when you got there. Now you can see little patches of mold.
Roy kicks at some of the mould. Are there bones and things here?
There's some bits of metal.
Are there any lightsabers on the floor?
Do you want to make a consolidated search amongst the potentially acidic fungus to try and retrieve treasure?
Yes.
I thought it was a general observation.
Yeah.
A question at this point, but
Yes, I do.
the doc's looking at the holograms and wants to sort of... you don't expect all Jedi to be the same species because they come from lots of different places and the doc knows that. But I suppose, do you want to look for anything which indicates sort of particular... whether there are actually sides or just all-out chaos, or whether it's just... or what species are playing, that sort of thing?
There are 2 distinct sides. They are humans who all look very similar to each other, which might be your first clue, with white hair and robes. They are carrying lightsabers. Some of them are carrying a kind of arm guard thing as well, and they have a very distinct style. Kay, you do recognise the style.
Okay.
It's the one that you have been learning.
So this is Ataru.
So it's the Ataru style that they're fighting with, but they appear to... some of them have additional bits of equipment and bits of kit.
It looks quite impressive then, because Ataru is very acrobatic. So I imagine these are the people in white, right?
Yeah.
I imagine there's a fair bit of leaping over people and fighting. Now, the people in the armour, they're fighting a different way, I imagine.
Yes. So they're also carrying lightsabers.
Yeah.
They are fully armoured.
Yeah.
And when they down someone, they are cleansing. They're using some sort of... It appears to be a flamethrower, but you see one of them specifically cleansing the body as they move on.
Right. They're not taking any prisoners.
It's a massacre.
Well, we're not the first ones here.
No.
The other side are all different races and generally being slaughtered.
You can't really tell because they're wearing armour, but some of them have more than the standard number of limbs.
Okay.
And some of them are taller and of different. So you would say that the more diverse crowd are the armoured types.
Right.
And
Right.
kind of mono look. Almost, you wouldn't want to say clones. The mono looked type are all one.
Well, Roy has got atavistic flashbacks to the Clone Wars, so if anyone around this table would be able to recognise, like, the signatures of clones, I think it would be Roy. I don't know if there's a role that Mim could make.
Ooh, warfare? Or education? It would be slightly different results.
I don't have points neither, but I'll give it a try. What difficulty?
2. Standard difficulty.
No.
One failure and 2 threat.
You're just having flashbacks again.
Roy nudges Bar in the ribs and goes, "So who are you rooting for?"
What I'll take the threat as you see someone go down, you definitely see what you think is a lightsaber clatter to the floor, and you think that fungal lump is definitely a lightsaber. Do you grab it?
I kick it away.
Okay, there's no lightsaber in there, but your foot is now covered in disgusting fungus, and it appears to be eating away. You'll need to do something about that very quickly, or you're going to take damage.
I know this. I shine my light on it.
Okay, you shine your light on it. You just basically spend a good... I'm spending the 2 threat basically having a comedy scene as you're hopping for a while.
Works for me.
So what kind of lights are working against this fungus? Because the holograms are light as well.
Yes.
They're not very bright, though, are they?
We've seen that light before in Star Wars. They're weird, slightly blue,
Flickery.
Flickery light.
Okay.
yeah.
You can roughly make out the colours because it flickers on the contrast, as it were. And yes, no, the fungus is going nuts.
Okay.
Now, I know, Takis, that you're not happy with this, but I think we should...
Look, I'm not happy, but I also know that we're not leaving here until you've had a chance to look through this, because you've got that look in your eye. And also, let's be honest here, the runes that are carved on this place are the same as the runes that were carved on the thing in the ship full of Imperial death weapon.
Yeah.
If this is where they've got that from, or they've got some ideas for that from, or if this has something in that can threaten my city, then we need to make sure that it's not going to threaten my city. So, I'm not even going to say I'm doing under protest, because we're not. I am aware that sometimes you've got to look beyond your immediate disquiet, but I'm not planning on coming here for my holidays, Kay.
All I ask is that we go through and we pick up anything we don't want Bracker to have.
Aye, that makes perfect sense. And also, I'll be completely honest, if I can find a suit of this armour intact or something like that, then, that looks like it might be something handy for all of us going forward.
Yeah.
In the background of this quite serious conversation, you can see Roy running back and forth, hopping back and forth, screaming, "Off, off, off, no, haha."
We're kind of ignoring you.
Don't mind him, he's got a thing with lightsabers.
He does?
Yeah, he's no fan.
Well, I'm sorry.
I think it's like ancestral programming memory.
Kay turns round as you're hopping on one foot and says, "I'm sorry. There's no context." Because we're talking to... and then turns back.
It's now all over your foot, by the way. Somehow it seems to be like moving further up your thigh.
Do you want me to help? He says, pulling the lightsaber.
Is the light thing not working?
It is, but as you chase it away, it chases further up rather than further down. Right. And then when you point it down, it goes round.
455, go and flutter.
Warning!
I can probably get that off, but I think that might freak her out a bit more.
Aye, it's all right.
It leaps.
I don't like that the mould is this kinetic. I'll be completely honest with you. Speaking of weapons we kinda let Bracker have, kinetic leaping...
Mould that eats everything.
Aye.
Including, it seems, lightsabers.
I'm no keen on that.
Can I try something?
Go ahead.
It's going to be a stupid idea, this, but can I try and force influence the fungus to just withdraw from where we are?
Ooh.
Give it a go.
Okay.
I mean, it's entirely experimental, because this is untapped,
They've been eating kyber crystals for a while. Good luck.
At the minute, I'll settle for it's not immediately around the 4 of us, or any associated droids, minions, or, party members.
This would be like the parting of the Red Sea, only with the weird yellowish greeny mould. Actually, no, it's not yellowish greeny. What is it?
Purplish.
Purplish.
Purplish with like kind of bluish eyes that come out the fronds. Is that a dark side point?
That's a dark side point. I don't believe
As you tack into it, there's definitely... You try and connect your soul to the greater force, which is roughly how this seems to work. As you do so, the pushback is evil. Yeah, you can tap into that if you want.
It's instinct, but it's malevolent. Or,
yes.
Okay. I'd rather not, but I still want to watch what it's doing.
Influence, if you get light side, it's a positive effect, and if you get dark side, it's a negative effect. So are you trying to scare it away or not? Because you can't scare it away with the light side.
Just persuade it to go away. Ask it nicely.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of going, shoo, shoo, or pulling a gun out and telling it to get the heck off your
Well, I was hoping
leg.
for friendliness of the light side, but you might have a point there as well.
No, I'm just trying to corrupt you, that's all. It's fine.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
Not from a Jedi.
Let the anger flow.
Yes, good.
Have you heard of the tragedy of Darth Mushroom the Wise?
He was not a fun guy.
Oh!
Can we put a symbol in there, please?
Yes.
Does that pun translate a light side to a dark pun?
No, it
We
does
don't
not.
have that many. Just don't.
Two dark side ones. The puns are definitely of the dark side.
Well, since my
I'm
original
sorry.
intention was to repel it away from us, that's kind of fair anyway, because that's, in a sense,
Yeah.
that's exactly what intention has
Go
created.
on.
So,
Go on,
yes,
go on,
let's
go
use
on.
the point.
So you flip our last light side point, you take a strain, and you will, when it comes to the morality totting up, gain a conflict.
Yep.
Come to the dark side.
We have cookies.
It was well intended.
So what emotion is it that you flood into the room at the fungus?
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to
I was
push
trying to make
into?
it move away from us. So that's...
Fair.
Yeah, it's fear of the sources of light that are among them, I suppose.
So you tap into this living entity that's all around you. You get a feeling for it. All it wants to do is it wants to be your friend, and then it wants to eat you. So then it's more of your friend, and then it's going to make more of its friends, so it can eat you more.
Resistance is futile.
Or what you do is you fill it full of fear, and there's a chain reaction.
Oh dear.
Weirdly, because it's all one thing connected to itself.
Oh, it's the fungus from Super Mario Brothers.
All of the fronds around you can see it, all of the fronds pop up. So all the little long thin filaments pop up and then pop. And there is a sulphury smell as the whole thing basically pollinates, and then it all collapses. So essentially, there's a burst of spore, and then it dies, flooding the area with a feeling of death and dread. And on that, I think we'll leave it there. Will I ever spend a dark side point? Will the dog make friends with fungus? Will Kay use his lightsaber properly? Will Roy ever get over his fear of a war he was never in? All these questions and more probably won't be answered in our next episode.
And before we go, today's patron is Josh. Thank you very much for backing the show, Josh. Josh does his own gaming blog and podcast, which can be found at swordorsorcery.com, and you all should definitely go and check that out. Thank you very much, and thank you all for listening. We will see you next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for this season is Unholy Night by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. If you like the show and want to interact with us, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, all of which are at Force Majeure Pod, though Twitter is probably where you're going to find us more regularly. If you enjoy what we do and want to support the show, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is via our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. The second is by buying us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod. And the third way is by rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere where you can find us. We really like reviews. It tells us that we're telling the stories that you want to hear and helps other people find us. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.